Okay guys, it is Sunday, the 1st of July. Now we haven't done one of these Sunday analysis videos for a few weeks. I think it is 3 or 4 weeks now. Basically, I was moving house, the house was upside down, and I've just started getting it back into some sort of order so I can get back to doing the videos. So with these videos now, what I'm going to do is the FTSE 100, the Forex pair EURUSD, and also the NASDAQ. We're going to look at the levels in terms of day trading for the week ahead. And basically I'm going to do it all in one video so that I get a day off over the weekend rather than doing some videos on the Saturday and some on the Sunday. What I would say also with the FTSE 100, just before we get started, this is the chart that we did last time. So it was either 3 or 4 weeks ago on the Sunday analysis. I can't remember. The levels are exactly the same. It's got everything on it. I believe there was also a line down here that I've just deleted because we haven't used it. So just before we get into the video, what I would like to say quickly is if there are any beginners watching the video and you are looking for some free education to get you started, we have our free intro to trading course and also the free Decisive Package. Both are linked down below, and those are aimed to get you started on the charts without having to pay crazy amounts of money. So first thing to say, looking at this chart, these are our levels from 3 or 4 weeks ago. We had our analysis of this trend channel on the FTSE 100. If we broke down below, the market was then starting to look more bearish. We were expecting some sort of a correction. But what I want to go over is looking at these levels, how powerful they can be when you sort of do your analysis and you plot them properly. Key resistance tested on the 14th of June. Huge sell-off down into one of our key support levels down here at 7560. Huge level of support, huge move up. Where does it move up into? One of our key resistance levels. We reject. We've just rejected here again on Friday with a huge move down. Where did we find support? On the 25th and the 26th of June, 7500 to 7480. Key support level. We also went over how if we broke down below here, then it opens up the stronger bearish movement. This is how powerful it is to sort of pinpoint your daily support and resistance levels to take you into the trading week ahead. This is the main area of trading, is getting this sorted before your trading week. And we're looking in terms of day trading. So personally, I trade off the 5-minute time frame, but this is how important it can be. A lot of people just sort of glaze over this. They're more interested in looking for a pin bar. All that sort of nonsense, looking for some indicator that's going to tell them your support and resistance levels are key. And this is how powerful they can be. Okay guys, what I'm going to do is quickly pause the video, get rid of all of these levels, and then we'll look at more recent levels. We'll just sort of replot them just so everyone can get it refreshed in their head. Okay guys, so the FTSE 100, really with this market, it's continuing to hold a little bit more bearish. When we broke down from this channel, as I mentioned, there's the potential there for a much stronger correction coming into the FTSE. Now what we did was we created this whole level of sideways price action right here. And basically, as soon as we started to break down below here, with subscribers, I started saying, yeah, the market's bearish. It's a lot more bearish. I actually started saying it a little bit earlier. I started saying it here on the 13th, but then we had this huge rally here, basically a dead cat bounce, which was very unexpected for me personally. And then we had the strong breakdown. As soon as we've seen the breakdown, yeah, back to being bearish. So for this market to start turning more bullish once again, really, we need to start getting back up above at least, let's have a look here. I'd say really at least 7696, or really the 7700 level. If we just take it up, we'll take it up into where we spiked up into on the Friday, and then we'll come down and we'll create the zone out of this one, sitting at around about, really I'd actually like this to be 2 zones, so 7710 to 7695. It's really if the market starts getting back up above here, holding back up above here, that I would then expect us to see more bullish price action and stronger bounces, potentially back up into 7745. At present, we're holding below. The market continues to be very bearish. 7682 down toward 7665, again, very key resistance on this market. Basically coming into next week, more than happy to look for weakness, more than happy to look for weakness. If we start breaking up above, yeah, I'd be happy to start looking for those potential bullish bounces. Moving the market higher. But really, for the market to start turning more bullish longer term, even if we start getting up above the previous highs, we're coming straight into all-time highs. So yeah, up above, happy to look for bullish bounces, but the market at present is holding bearish. Now, that key level that we went over at the start of the video remains the same. Around about 7,500, 7,480. Right down here. So what we can see is a few times we've had round numbers, 7,500, 7,700. Very often, round numbers will give you a little bit of a clue as to the market's support and resistance levels. Something we go over in that decisive package because they are very useful. I'm actually going to move it up ever so slightly. 7,510, 7,480. So right around that round number. This is very key support for bullish bounces. If we see the market breaking down, then yeah, I'm happy to start looking for stronger corrections on the FTSE. Now up above there we have another level sitting at, so really in between now, these are the main levels, key resistance, key support. In between, not quite as key levels. More, these are sort of support and resistance levels. I'll be looking for very nice price action if I'm trading off of these areas. 7,615, 7,588. Potential level of support and resistance, and then we've got another one just down below there at 7,550 down toward 7,540 right here. Okay, so those are the main levels going into next week, guys. Key resistance up above 1 and 2. If we break up above, good for potential support. We've got support and resistance in between 1 and 2. Very key support down at the bottom. If we break down below, yeah, expecting stronger corrections on the FTSE, and really moving forward, I'd expect to see this whole area down here tested, all the way down into 7,330 at a minimum, and then moving forward, really, there is the potential for the market to start turning a lot more bearish. Okay, so let's now move on to Euro USD. Okay, quickly with the Euro USD also, what we can see is we still have our levels on this chart. Now, with this chart, we had very key support down here at 117.12 for bounces. You can see the market trying to break down, failing, and then getting a strong bounce, breaking down. If we broke down below, looking for that resistance, market comes up, rejects, market comes up, strong rejection, then we've had another press higher. We didn't quite reach that 150 level down below. Support and resistance, you know, not always perfect. Let's get these out of the way. What we can see is the market came down into that area, bounced, and it has bounced again. Nice resistance from here. We're really looking for this bearish movement from quite a while back when we started breaking down below these levels. So let's get rid of these ones and clean this chart up a little bit. Okay guys, so for Euro USD, as I mentioned, when we started breaking down below these levels, the market was starting to look more bearish. If we do see the market pulling back into these levels at 122.80 to 122.10 and 121.30 to 120 or no, 40, yeah, really good for potential resistance. This would be sort of longer term movements on this market. They're both very key levels now. If we just quickly go on to the weekly time frame, we can see that very strong bearish movement on the Euro USD, and we're now testing at fairly key support right here. What I would say is the market is still looking bearish. We had a very, very strong sell-off here. We are coming down into very key support, but at present we are holding relatively bearish. Number of resistance levels up above that we can start to watch. Mainly the more recent price action we're going to be paying attention to. Let's have a look. So on the daily time frame, looking for, first of all, swings. Key swing, key swing, key swing. Lining up nicely. Let's just pop in a zone. 118.50 down to, really it's this whole section. 117, really 118.40 flat, I would say. This whole area right here. Very key resistance. You know, we've already tested it once, and we've seen the rejection come in after we broke down. We've came up, we've rejected. If the market's pressing back up, yeah, again, really good level to watch for that potential weakness. If we start breaking up above, it's a good level to look for the pullbacks and that bullish continuation. Potentially back up toward our next key level up here. Now down below there, we've got 117.46 down toward a little bit lower, 117.18 right here. Again, good level of potential resistance. If we start breaking up above, it's also worthwhile watching for that potential support. What I'm actually going to do is bring this down ever so slightly. What I'm doing is, so I'm taking it down to 117. The reason I'm bringing it down is because looking at it in terms of support, I'm looking for the key support structure. Some here, yep, but the more recent level is right here. So I want to incorporate it into that support and resistance zone. Down below there we are, let me just delete this rectangle. One here, and then we're back down into these lows. So we'll put them both in. We've got a level at 116.50. Really down toward, I'd say it's all the way down into 116 flat again. Right here. Again, I would say this is potentially a little bit more minor of a zone. So similar to the FTSE video, really good price action. Yeah, absolutely worthwhile still watching for potential support and resistance. 115.65. Down towards, yeah, 115.35. I was considering that one zone or two zone, but really for me it looks like two zones. Good support. What I would say is if we do start breaking down below this one, yeah, potentially the weakness is starting to come in to this market, and we can start to look for those sells. Wrong button. And we've got another one just down below there at around about 115.20 into 115.05 right here. Yeah, still good support, but what I would say is if we're breaking down below here, we've had the main level of the buyers coming in. Yeah, starting to look for that weakness, certainly. Those are the main areas for EURUSD next week, guys. Preference really looking for that weakness at present. And what I would say is potentially a little bit of a trend line. The reason we can see it is we've tested here. We've had the spike up, the spike up, the spike up, and the close all lining up with the trend line. And then this one tries to break up, very likely taking out stops, sitting just up above the trend line, and then we've crashed down. So pressing back up next week, if we're testing here, a little bit of a confluence potentially. And if we're breaking up above there, good for potential support and those bounces. Okay guys, let's jump on to NASDAQ now. Okay, for this market, we've actually tested way up above the last levels that we did. What we can see is as we broke up, we came down. What did we do? Tested right on our 7,074.75 level, and then we had another huge bullish bounce. So again, I'm just going to pause this, clean it up a little bit, and then we'll do the more recent levels. Okay, so for the NASDAQ at present, we're actually holding a little bit more bullish. This is a very key level on this market down here, this here and also right here. So even if we are coming down on the NASDAQ, I'm pretty happy to look for potential bullish bounces. So basically back here, we had a little bit of a price squeeze before we broke up. Now we're back down testing at this whole section of price action. Very often if you get price squeezes, triangles, ascending, descending, or just regular triangles, very often on your way back down, you're going to see some sort of support and resistance coming into the market. So 6985, it's really all the way down into, so we've had the spike down. What I would say is really, I want to look at this as two separate levels. So let's have a look. We're going to have one down to 6950, 6985, 6950. and then relatively close 6940 all the way down to 6923. Very, very key support on this market. Bounces and bounces. Even with the market holding or pressing down very strongly, with subscribers have been going over this level, it's still worthwhile looking for buys. Up above, we also have very key resistance up here. So if we're pressing up, we're looking for those sells. When the market's like this, as I've been saying to subscribers also, we're looking at the key levels in between. We're a little bit more neutral. You don't need to guess which way a market's going to go. Some people say, you can read the market and you can tell longer term where it's going to go. News events can change it. Economic reports can change it. I'm only looking for the very, very easy to spot, very simple key moves on markets. Do we need to come all the way down here? Let's do one more. 6890 down toward, I'd say, really want to take into account this level. 6850. So 6890, 6850, because we want to take into account this little section. So we're starting to test down here. I'd say this again is very key support. Now if we're starting to break down below there, it's likely we're coming down to test all the way down here. We don't need to cover that this week. So 1, 2, and 3, all key support. If we're breaking down below here, yeah, certainly starting to look for the weakness. I'd also say if we're getting down below 6923, it's worthwhile starting to look for that potential weakness. Let's look at the key resistance levels up above, and then we'll fill in the more, I wouldn't say minor levels, I'd say, more neutral levels. So 7220 down into, let's have a look here, 7200 right here as potential resistance. And we're down into 7185. Down to 7155. What you can see is when I'm doing this, I'm doing it relatively quickly. I got an email over the weekend from someone who was annoyed about the daily support and resistance levels, and they said it should be easy. Anything in trading should not be easy. There's not a 90% failure rate because things are easy in trading. But the more you do it, I've been doing this for years, you can do it a lot faster. But I would never just put these levels in and then just say, okay, I'm just going to say a sell order here, a buy order here. This is where you then start to implement your trading plan. But the more you do anything in life, the quicker you become at setting things up. So 7137, 7115. So the whole point of the videos is to help you guys actually trade. So if you're looking to actually trade, I can put these levels in. It's the same levels I'm going to be watching. 7106. Really down into 7093. This is where we're starting to watch this previous level back here to give us some sort of clues, because we don't have a lot of evidence up here. And these levels are starting to get pretty close together. What I would say is main resistance is this one. Let's mark them up. This one. This one. And yeah, the one up above. Let's say this one also. They're all key resistance. Now we're starting to get down to a little bit more minor levels at present. This one here, actually, we can actually bring it down to here. 7085. Just taking into account the close and the open from last week. Now we can incorporate the spike up also from the Friday. And then really we've got a sort of more middle of the road level, which is 7060 down toward 7040. These ones are the more minor levels, guys. 7023, really just a little bit down we want to come. Really, that spike up, 7009 right here. So, a few more levels on the NASDAQ. A little bit messy if I'm being totally honest. We've got key resistance 1, 2, and 3. Main levels, key support, main levels. In between, 1, 2, and 3, more minor at present. What I would say is on the NASDAQ, selling into rallies continues to make sense. If we're coming down to these levels, buying continues to make sense. If we start to break down below, starting to look for the weakness. and that move potentially to the next key support at 6,890. Again, worthwhile starting to look for the buys. If we're breaking down below, there's a potential there to open up a stronger bearish movement. Okay guys, that is everything for this week. As always, I hope you found that helpful. I hope it helps you with your trading week ahead. I'm James R, and thank you.